And welcome back to the chicken enclosure. Today we're going to answer that question, when will my chicken start to lay? Hi, my name's Fiona. Through our social media channels and through YouTube comments, we're asked a lot of questions about our chickens and about chickens in general. One of the biggest questions we get asked most often is, when will my hens start to lay? There are a number of factors which affect hens laying. The first is breed, there's time of year, there's diet, and there's living environment. And we're going to look at each of those four today so we can answer that question. So let's get started. The breed of your chicken will have the biggest impact on when they're likely to start to lay. Some chickens can lay as early as 16 weeks old, and those are breeds such as Golden Comet. Other breeds, like Old English Pheasant fowl, can take up to 28 weeks, and we have some of those. These are two of our Old English Pheasant fowl. Although the breed has only had its name since 1914, the breed itself is centuries old, and it's one of the reasons why these chickens don't come on to lay until they're 28 weeks old. Let me explain a little bit more. That's our Old English Pheasant fowl, which I think can make a great addition to our flock. All chickens are descended from jungle fowl, and jungle fowl only lay roughly 12 eggs a year, and then only during the breeding season. Centuries of selective breeding have meant that modern breeds will lay hundreds of eggs a year, but there are still some general rules if you want a chicken that's going to start laying early. Firstly, a heavier breed and an older strain will start to lay later. So you've seen the Old English Pheasant fowl, who are a very, very old breed, but we've got some heavier set chickens too. So we've got Orpingtons and we've got Copper Black Morans. They won't start laying until roughly about the 26-week mark. If you want a chicken who's going to start laying earlier, go for a lighter, very modern strain of chicken. Now that does come with a toll, so there is a little caveat there. I mentioned earlier Golden Comets, and Golden Comets do start to lay at 16 weeks and do have a prolific laying rate. But laying eggs takes a lot of energy, and as a result they only have an expectancy of roughly around 3 years, whereas our Orpingtons are significantly longer. And here's an example. The chicken in the foreground is called Gannet. She's one of our Orpingtons, and now she's at the ripe old age of 8 years old, and she's still going strong. The number of daylight hours heavily influences when your chickens will come on to lay. Chickens' bodies are very attuned to circadian rhythms, and what that means is it goes back to their origins. So when hens started to develop, their whole point of laying an egg was all about raising the next generation, so they would only hatch chicks during warmer months. As soon as daylight hours fell below 12 hours, it meant that you were coming into the colder months. So chickens would go off lay, and that was true of chickens coming on to lay for the first time and those who are continuing to lay. So once you've got chickens, it's likely that you're not going to see any hens' eggs all through the winter time period. Now this isn't true for all chickens. Our Orpingtons, for example, will continue to lay during winter. However, for all chickens, including our Orpingtons, if the time point that you're expecting to see eggs for the first time, whether that's at 16 weeks old, 18 weeks old, or 24 or even 28 weeks old, if that happens to fall in a time period where there is less than 12 daylight hours, it's highly likely that you're not going to see eggs till the next spring. We have some young Orpingtons here, and they reach 26 weeks old, which is roughly when they're supposed to start laying eggs, but they reached that age when there was only 8 hours of daylight. So we're not expecting to see any eggs from them at all until next spring. Diet for your hens and availability of water is crucial to egg production. It takes a specific proportion of nutrients and a lot of water to create those fantastic eggs. Now, the easiest way to make sure that your hens have got the right nutritional balance is roughly about 2 weeks before your breed is expected to come on to lay, move them on to a layer's pellet, which is specifically balanced to support egg production. Availability of water is also crucial, so making sure there's lots of drinkers, so water is available on demand and freshen it at least once a day during that time period to make sure that your hens can easily produce those eggs when you need them to. The final area that I'd like to discuss, which influences when your hens will come on to lay, is their living environment. And actually this is more to do with stress on their bodies. A stressed chicken is a chicken that's living in a period of fear, and this means that they're less likely to lay eggs. And this could be for all sorts of things. For example, they could be low on the pecking order, and if they've been bullied by chickens which are higher up the pecking order, they are in fear and they will come on to lay later than those hens which are higher up the pecking order. Another possibility is that they've had a change in circumstance. So for example, you have a breed of chicken which is due to start laying 18 weeks, but you purchase them at 14 weeks. And you're giving them a wonderful free-range lifestyle, like this one here. But up to 14 weeks, they were raised by the breeder in an enclosed barn setting. Now, even though the free-range environment is much better for them long-term, initially, it will add stress to the chicken because chickens aren't good with change. But bear with them, once they've got used to it and they've settled down, they will come on to lay. I hope that's helped answer the question for you, when will my hens start to lay? If you have liked this content, take a moment and give me a thumbs up below. If you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and the notifications icon and you'll get to know of any new video as soon as they're published. If there's a question you need answering, or if you've got a comment on what you've just seen, let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or even make a video for you in the future. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.